What's up, guys? All right, thank you all for being here. Well, if you didn't know, my name is Zafran Aqil, and I am an international yo-yo competitor. Yo-yos, right? Well, personally for me, I am the current 2 times Malaysian national yo-yo champion, and thus far, I've managed to represent Malaysia up until the World Championship stage. Thank you. This year, I got the opportunity to represent Malaysia in Tokyo, Japan, in conjunction with the World Yo-Yo Championship 2015, and is currently ranked 44th overall in the entire world. Well, that's all the competition aspect of it, so let me just start by sharing with you guys the story of how I began yo-yoing, right? Well, I was a young kid. I came across yo-yos just like everyone else, but I really didn't think much of it. I mean, at most, it could go up and down. Most times it gets stuck and I get really frustrated. So I get really tired and just put it over on the side and never really think much of it. But when I was 15, I randomly came by into the mall and saw one of the shopkeepers at the toy store, and he was just throwing some yo-yo on the side. It was just so spectacular to me because I've never been introduced to the concept of ball-bearing yo-yos before. Usually yo-yos for me just go up and down. But these yo-yos, they stay down. They don't come back up. I was just mind blown. And he was like, hey, do you want to see a cool trick? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I just went up in front of him, and he was like, all right, wait. I'm going to show you this really cool trick that you have probably never seen before. He was like, all right, you see all these string segments on my fingers? Like, tug on the string if it's really tight. Like, it can't unravel, right? And I was like, yeah. But with the wave of his fingers, he just slowly pulled the string, and everything just kind of unraveled. And from that moment on, I was mesmerized because I've never seen a trick like that before. And I was like, hey, do you guys sell yo-yos at the store? And he was like, yeah. So I just went up straight, begged my mom for at least half the money to buy that yo-yo, because obviously she said no first. And I bought a yo-yo that day. I went home, searched online, and it was just like being in Disneyland because there were just so many tricks up on the list that I didn't even know existed. There were the kamikaze, the Superman, the spirit bomb. The list just goes on and on and on. And what else I could do then? Practice. So I learned the first trick, and then I learned the second trick, and then I learned the trick after that. And what was the most amusing thing to me was when I realized that there was a new concept that I wasn't introduced to called combos. What are combos? Combos is basically combining an entire string of tricks to form a new kind of trick. Let me give you an example. This is called man on the flying trapeze, a very staple trick. Also, this is the double or nothing. 2 completely separate tricks, right? But with a simple manipulation of my fingers, I can go into the double or nothing, let it go, and just let it flow out back into a trapeze. And everything just changed for me. I just kept, thank you. Well, I kept practicing and practicing, and eventually I had the courage to go back to the store and ask the guy, hey, am I really the only guy who's playing yo-yo right now? And he was like, no, there's actually more people. There's an entire community that meets up here on certain Saturdays where they have gatherings and meetings where they share tricks and ideas. And I was like, whoa, a community? No, wait, yo-yo community, are you for real? And he was like, yeah, there is such thing. So when I was like really excited, I asked him, so which Saturdays were these? To my own disappointment, he said, I have no idea. Heart broke a little, but it's okay. I persevered. I came to the mall every single Saturday until that very day came where I could meet the yo-yo community. But in between, I just stayed home and I kept practicing and practicing and practicing. So the day that I met the yo-yo community, I wanted to show off the best skills that I could ever have, right? Okay, so that very day when I met the yo-yo community, it was during the school holidays. I was 15, and I went to the mall. The guy said, yes, they're downstairs. They're in the main auditorium. Go rush yourself downstairs, and they're going to be there. Ran down in the middle of the mall, on the main stage. To my own amusement, I saw all 5 Power Rangers, yes, every single Power Ranger, on stage, behind yo-yo players, performing tricks. I mean, I mean, come on, guys. That hit me in my inner child. I mean, Power Rangers and yo-yos at the same time? Come on. You gotta be kidding me right now. So I just stared in amusement and then I just laughed to myself on the inside. And eventually, after the whole thing was over, I went up to the yo-yo community and introduced myself to everyone. I mean, initially I was a pretty timid kid, but the best part was I didn't even have to try. I introduced myself to someone and said hi, and I said I played yo-yo, and I was completely new. Within 5 minutes, everyone was just like, hi, my name is so-and-so, my name is so-and-so, my name is so-and-so, and I was just overwhelmed because, personally for me, I've never made this many friends in this short amount of time, ever. So at that point of time, it was just a sensory overload. I was just like, oh, okay, tricks, 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 and friends, 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 and new. Whoa. But the best part about this encounter was when I was exposed to different styles of yo-yoing that I never even knew existed. Let me demonstrate. The first style of play is the most typical one that you just saw me do just now, 1A, where the yo-yo goes up and down, one yo-yo spins, and the string is attached to my finger. The next two divisions are 2A and 3A. 2A and 3A involve you to be a little bit more ambidextrous, but all that can be trained. So this is a looping yo-yo. And 2A is called 2A because it involves two looping yo-yos, two-handed tricks. And next up we have 3A. 3A is a combination of 1A and 2A. You take one long spinner yo-yo on one hand, and then you take another one on the other hand, because one is not hard enough already, right? So, just attach this to my finger, do a long sleeper on one side, do a long sleeper on the other side, oh, and mix both together. The next two divisions that I was exposed to was something completely unfamiliar because they apply concepts from different kinds of skill toys. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the Chinese yo-yo, right? The big thing is attached to the string, but it's not really attached to the string, so it allows it to float around freely. The next division, 4A, applies the same concept. It's also known as off-string because when I toss the yo-yo up, the yo-yo is not attached to the string. And it allows the player to freely control the yo-yo however they want. And for the last and final style of play, this blew my mind completely forever because to my knowledge, yo-yoing is like a yo-yo and string attached to your finger. But for the next division, 5A, the yo-yo is not. It's attached to a counterweight, which could be anything from a die to a rubber ball, a beer bottle opener even if you would like. And the whole concept is that when the momentum of the yo-yo spins on one side, the counterweight spins on the other, allowing you to do very fluid motions and different kinds of tricks. I mean, from then on I was sold because it was just every single time and learn more about yo-yos, there was just so much more to learn. And initially being so ignorant about it, everything is like a whole new surprise to me. So after meeting the community, I realized that there was such thing as yo-yo competitions. Wow, community, competitions, too much for me to handle right now. But I was just so amazed. I went on YouTube and I searched up for some freestyle videos, freestyle. That's when I learned that a yo-yo competition is actually when a yo-yo player is given 3 minutes on stage on the final slot to just freestyle whatever they have to the beat of the music. It involves two different categories of yo-yoing, the technical side and the evaluation side. The technical side appreciates how you do it, appreciates what you do, I mean the tricks and whatnot, and the evaluation side takes into consideration of how you do it, meaning your body control, your music use, your stage use, and all that jazz. all this can be a little bit too technical, so why not I just demonstrate it to you guys? Well, it was a little bit of a mishap here and there, but you know, who can go through life without a little bit of a knot, right? Well, now you all must be wondering, how is it that a judge can judge a yo-yo performance, right? Again, I mentioned earlier, there's the technical aspect and the performance aspect. It's all broken down to different categories which will highlight a player's performance on stage. And what I learned from this concept of evaluations is I related it to real-life goal settings, because I was never the most confident kid. I mean, being on stage in front of people and whatnot, that's a very new feeling. But because of how much I loved playing yo-yo, I really wanted to move on from being that kid who was at the back of the class to someone who would be a front runner and show the world what I have. And that took a lot of courage. So I kept practicing, and each contest that I went to, even though I might not have won, I look at the sheets and I set goals for myself thinking, okay, in the next contest, where do I want to be? I want to improve this. And I work up to it. And this can be translated in real life as well. Because regardless of the fact that it's difficult, how many times of you here have tried to do something, and the moment it gets hard, you just put it down and never continue it ever again? Well, sometimes you never know. By adding an extra hour of practice, you may have unlocked a new skill that you have never discovered about yourself. It's like finding a new version of yourself. And personally for me, the more I improve, the more I strive to be the best version of myself that I can be. And to do this requires a lot of passion. And finding your passion is something that will change your life forever. It's like finding that golden ticket that will give you access to the entire Willy Wonka factory, but in this case, it's just for the entire world. Through yo-yoing, I have made dozens of friends. I've met my idols who eventually became my friends. And when I go travel and go to contests, beyond all the competition sides, it's actually more like being in a big family reunion. Even though you're from different parts of the world, like I have friends from Thailand, Iceland, America, Czech Republic. And when we were at a yo-yo contest, all of them just meshed together. And even though we have language barriers, we communicate through our passion. We have the yo-yo. So that prompts you to really open up your eyes and realize that even though people are different, essentially, on the inside, they're the same. And there's so much for you to learn out there. Well, personally for me, I'm a person who likes to read as well, aside from playing yo-yos, right? I read books, I read comic books, I read magazines, anything and everything. And there was this one particular quote that I came across that really stood out to me. A journey to 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I mean, initially when I was younger, I never really knew what that meant. But when I discovered the yo-yo, it gave me the platform to go beyond. So I took my first step, and I began my 1,000-mile journey. And I believe that all of you here can do the same. Thank you.